All right, welcome everyone to episode 1 of our 5 Seasons CrossFit Nutrition podcast, although it's the second one. The first one was 0. For those of you that didn't watch the first one, I'd encourage you to go back and take a look. We covered all things nutrition and supplements. Won't go into details here. Go watch it. Which brings me to my second point. Make sure that you go in and like our video and share. And if you're not following us on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, please do so. That will help broaden our fantastic message. So with that said, we'll get right into today's material. So today we are covering programming. Everyone loves to talk about programming, so we figured our second podcast would be a good introduction to programming, and we've invited our lovely guest, Nikki, to the podcast. She's thrilled to be on video and audio. So
it's my first podcast, so we can do it.
Welcome. So with that, I wanted to ground the conversation around kind of our why, our mission, before we get into the nuts and bolts of how we program and why we program. So the first 2 things that we're going to do, I'll go over our 5 Seasons CrossFit and Nutrition mission statement, and then something that you see in the gym that you might walk by and not notice, or you might think, why does it say that? Over the door, and then on the coach's stand, trust the process. So first piece here is our mission statement and our purpose. At 5 Seasons CrossFit, we empower growth-minded individuals to evolve through fitness, nutrition, and mindset in a supportive community, with a focus on longevity so that your strengths carry you through life. We're here to inspire your next level and keep you moving well for years to come. No matter your season, your journey starts here. So that is our overall mission and is why we do what we do. Tony is going to go through our Trust the Process, which was just a quick backstory on Trust the Process. Let me get the next one up here. Right when we combined both gyms last year, one of our, I think it was actually Coach Andy, had asked, you guys talk about trust the process. Like, what does trust the process mean? Actually, we were at lunch, and Andy, if you're listening, you know where we were at. So we're at lunch. I get the question, trust the process, and I'm like, that's a fantastic question. Like, what is trust the process?
And it's more than just written on my barbell.
Yes, that might have been where the conversation started. So
I forgot about that.
as a coaching team, we developed our version of Trust the Process. You can probably go out and Google and whatever the search platform and ChatGPT what Trust the Process means. As our group of coaches, we developed what this means for our gym. So without further ado, I'll have Tony go through what that is.
So trust the process to us. Our program and methodology is not a quick fix, a fad, or a magic pill. It is not easy. It is not easy and is hard work. Progress takes time. There are no shortcuts. We lift weights and do cardio in an infinite combination that is varied but never random. As a gym community, we eat, sleep, and move well. Rest days are as important as working days, consistently showing up 4 to 6 days per week, listening to your coach, being patient, challenging yourself, never giving up, and having a no excuses mindset will allow you to achieve the maximum result. Trust the process.
If that doesn't get you fired up. So we have that pasted above the door, the exit doors. Sometimes, and I don't know, where you two lift typically. We're typically in different classes, but a lot of times when I'm doing a lift or I'm in a tough spot in a workout, I will intentionally look at that, trust the process, and kind of gives me, I'm not going through this in my head, but it centers me on, okay, we're doing this for a reason. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
cool. So now we'll get into the nuts and bolts. One thing that I want to say that the overall intent of our workout, and from a biometric standpoint, what we do has three main impacts. First impact, the easy one, is building your skeletal muscle mass. We'll do an entire podcast on why skeletal muscle mass is so important, so I won't even get into those details now because we will rabbit hole that very hard. Skeletal muscle mass, number one. Number two, and it's something that you can't see unless you go to the doctor and you have what's called a DEXA scan, is you're increasing your bone density. So as you age, in which we're all aging, our bone density decreases. Without resistance training, it will decrease at a quicker rate, leading to all sorts of other things. That's another podcast. And then finally, cardiovascular health, or your VO2 max, which, surprise, that's a whole nother podcast I'm sure we can go over. But those three things are three of the biggest indicators to longevity, which was in our mission statement, to your successful outcome. So you want to be the person who's 80 years old, not in a nursing home, or you just want to be the most badass person in that nursing home. Subscribing to CrossFit methodologies is going to be one of the best ways to get you in that position. So let's talk programming. So I've got a handful of questions, but the first one's kind of just overarching. The programming that we have is known as GPP, or General Physical Preparedness, getting you ready for the outside world. And this first one's for Nikki. So can you tell us how you structure our programming and what you're trying to achieve on a weekly, monthly, maybe even a yearly basis?
Sure. So when programming, I do it with a focus for the month, but then break it down per week. And really, the behind of it all is, what can we do, as Cliff said, to get us prepared for life, right? As Cliff said, we want to either stay out of the nursing home or be the strongest person in that nursing home if that time comes. A lot of times, I believe maybe you guys even talked about this on the first podcast. If not, I'm mixing stuff up. But a lot of times, if a person falls,
We did.
I thought so. If a person falls, they can't get back up. So like you guys were talking about, that's a burpee. So how I program is weekly, but with an intent to cover every part of the body. So in other just general programs, if you will, you'll see today is leg day, Tuesday is chest day, Wednesday is core day. Whereas in CrossFit, with things being constantly varied, we're going to pair sometimes those muscles together, certain movements that are going to work both your shoulders, but then maybe we'll do shoulders and legs. So there's always an infinite combination of how movements can be put together to achieve the stimulus.
Yeah. This wasn't on the script, so we're going off script for a hot second.
That didn't take long.
No. I wrote down questions so we stay somewhat centered. This is, I think, kind of an easy one, and maybe just a plug for the app that we use Beyond the Whiteboard. But why should people use Beyond the Whiteboard, and what's the benefit of doing so long term?
Sure. So if we see ever a repeat workout, it's so awesome to look back and be able to see progress. And if you don't keep track of this, if you're not logging stuff in Beyond the Whiteboard, you're not going to remember what you did 6 months ago. I don't even remember the workout we did yesterday. So if you're not purposefully logging, please do so. Please start doing that. But it is a good way to monitor your progress. Maybe a workout took you a little bit longer, but you increased that weight of the barbell. So that's huge. So, yeah.
Yeah, just yeah. Just to kind of piggyback on that, because we had a workout this week, Diane.
Yeah.
So that workout is the antithesis of getting better, just getting stronger and faster. The workout doesn't necessarily get easier.
No.
I bring this up because I've been doing CrossFit going on 10 years now. I have done Diane at least every year, if not multiple times. And I started that first year with 115 pounds and hand release push-ups from my knees. It took me a few years to be able to build to RX and then build to finishing under time cap to this week where I set my fastest time.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where
If you hadn't have logged that.
yep, if I didn't have that logged, if we didn't track it.
You've gotten a lot better at handstand push-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of it. A lot better with handstand push-ups, a lot better with moving a heavier barbell. And you think about those two movements specifically, you have a heavy lift and a high-level gymnastic. Without doing those with with a regularity, which they are programmed at decently regular intervals, on top of that, all the other movements that help go towards that, any kind of pull-up, the strict pull-up, any kind of strict press, push press, thrusters, all those kind of things translate to that handstand push-up. Or the deadlift, even our cleans, snatch, any of that half that movement is a deadlift.
Yeah.
So everything kind of starts to roll together, and that's how you can start to see that progress over time.
Yeah.
And then the other part is, especially one of the things I like about Beyond the Whiteboard, anyone who used to be part of Craft probably remembers Sugar Wad, where it was not the most user-friendly in the world. You also, I think you had a 140 character limit for your note. Like you couldn't put like a real, like if anyone wants to, go ahead and look at my workouts when I log them. Most of the time, I've got a book in there.
You're the one that burns that out.
Oh yeah, 100%. I put in my rep scheme that I did, how I felt for that workout. I know, Cliff, I've noticed you started doing as well, like when we do skill work, what extra equipment you used that day.
Yep.
Just putting as much info in there as you can, just so you know for next time.
Yep.
Because I don't know of anything that we're going to do once and then never do again.
Yeah, the reason I ask that specific is for multiple reasons, but the daily program, or it's like putting together a 1,000-piece puzzle. The puzzle isn't complete without each little component. So while one day might be a 6-minute workout like it was today, with the right intensity, and we'll get into intensities and things like that, that's going to whoop your, I can't say swears on YouTube, I don't think, so I don't want to get kicked out right away. But that, in conjunction with all the other things that we do, are going to increase your muscle mass, your bone density, and your VO2 max. So trusting the process and logging those things, so you see the long-term effects of, hey, I did 115 with hand release push-ups, and now you just get a PR 10 years later. So that's why it's fantastic to hear. So rolling into another question for you, Tony. We do have a decent number of new folks, and even for the old folks, it is good to hear this. But what are some of the common misconceptions that people might have about CrossFit programming?
So it's a really good question, because I had a couple of good conversations today about this. So especially with our programming, where we have a skill and a WOD majority of days, the biggest misconception is that you should be going to failure or absolute max effort in both parts every day. And part of that is, one of the first things people hear about CrossFit is it's constantly varied movements at high intensity. I really wish they would kind of put a little caveat in there. intensity for that day.
Yep.
Because, and we talked a little bit before this, but obviously if you go absolutely as hard as you can in everything 5 times, 6 times a week, you are going to burn yourself out. You're not going to give your essential nervous system and your muscles time to recover properly. The biggest thing is,
which tends to lead to injury as well.
Yeah, it does. So one of the big things that I like, especially with a lot of our new people, that I'm trying to convey to them and convey to some of our older members, or not older as in years, older as in been around a while.
Yeah.
OGs.
It's
Yeah, the OGs. There's the word.
It's always good to center on the standard.
Yeah.
So even for myself, I love getting feedback from all of our coaches. And like, I've been doing this for I had my 12-year anniversary, and there's still things that I'm learning. So
yeah. And it's that whole thing of, and you'll hear this from me probably multiple times, maybe in this podcast and in more. The biggest thing is to take 2 minutes, look at the workout, especially if you're new, look at the movements. And Beyond the Whiteboard's awesome. It's got the little guy doing the movement. Any of those you have, so you can see the movement. But just look at the movements and go, okay, which ones of these am I comfortable with? Which ones maybe I gotta take a few extra seconds to make sure I'm doing properly? And where you can push versus where you need to rest. And tackle the day as it feels.
Yep.
Because from one day to the next, I mean, case in point, this week we did the entered in front squats. My quads still hurt. That was 3 days ago. Like, I've been doing this CrossFit thing for a while. I've squatted for quite a few squats in my life, but sometimes it just hits different.
Yeah.
Some days you might come in, feel good, and then you get in the workout or you get into your warm up sets and you're like, this 135 feels like 185 today.
Yeah.
Go off how you feel. Yes, there's days to push and go for it if you feel that way. Awesome, do it. But it's relative intensity to your day, also to your skill level. One of the big things, Cliff mentioned, we had a 6-minute workout today that was basic. It was essentially 1-minute sprints. With those, it's go hard, but stay under control.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have probably seen it before too. Somebody comes out, we have a 15-minute workout. You see them blow through the first round in like 90 seconds, and then all of a sudden, 2 rounds later, they're taking 5 minutes. Yeah. It's finding that relative attainable intensity that you can maintain for the workout.
One of the things that I've heard time and time again, and it probably doesn't get preached enough, mechanics, consistency, intensity. And a lot of times with, like, people think, and you said the first thing was, functional movements performed at high intensity. It's relative intensity, but you have to have the mechanics, you have to have the consistency before the intensity is really pushed.
Yeah, doing the movement correctly at a slightly slower pace is better for you than going absolutely as hard as you can, but shorting reps or putting yourself in a compromised position.
So a couple things between our mission statement and trust the process. We talk about longevity. It's a long game. It's not a short game. And there are some instances where the short game does matter. And then consistency. So, 4 to 6 days per week is going to yield the best results for whatever goal that you might have. So awesome. Thank you, Tony. Next one is for Nikki. We've been doing this for going on 8 years now, I think. And then obviously before that we were athletes ourselves. I mean, we're still athletes, but we've been in the CrossFit space for over a decade. Programming has evolved over time, and our programming has evolved over time. So tell us about your perception of the programming and how it has evolved.
Yeah. So over time, as we talked about our mission statement, trust the process, because I do the programming, have really shifted kind of focus towards longevity of it, right? Like, there is a time and a place, like we said, to come in and you just push and push, like Murph will say, like, we couldn't do Murph every day. I know maybe there's some of our athletes that be like, I'd love to do that every day. But how it's evolved is I want everyone to come in and first off have fun. Okay. During the workouts, even myself, sometimes doing them in the moment might not be fun, but they gotta be fun to have you guys wanting to come back and keep doing it. So I really try to focus on making them fun, constantly varied, right? So we're never doing the same thing over and over. I personally would love to do Annie every day, but I don't think that the whole gym would love doing double unders and sit-ups. So but really how it's evolved in all seriousness is focusing more on the longevity piece of it, not just drilling everyone into the ground every day. I want athletes to come in, have the best hour of their day, move well, have fun, get a little bit of socializing, and be able to come back and do it the next day and the next day and the next week, and not be so sore, even though I do apologize. The Enderton front squat does get us. And
I think like a lot of it is, what I've seen is training smarter, not necessarily harder. You can, like back in the day, we did a lot of grinders.
Yeah.
Middle of the week hero wads, which, there are some that middle of the week is fine, but a lot of them it's like, I need to recover for a half day over that. And we all live real lives and have real jobs. So feeling like you're drained for the next 4 to 6 hours probably isn't going to be in your best interest. And then, like Nikki said, for the longevity piece. So now that doesn't mean that you can't compete and do the program that we do. I don't want to spoil any of the other questions, but we have a number of competitors, whether it's local competing or out of state type competitions. Like you can still do the thing. So, and I won't spoil the rest of it because there are more questions around that. Next question: how do you balance constantly varied workouts with like an overall structure? It's not just like I guess what the question is, and it kind of goes to one of maybe the misconceptions, is like you just put all the movements in, and this is literally old school CrossFit. They called it the hopper for those OGs that had been around.
Yeah.
You roll it around. We didn't actually have a hopper, but CrossFit HQ did. Roll it around, burpees, roll it around, deadlift, roll it around 5K. So that was like back in the 07 days.
Yeah, early days.
So that was the epitome of constantly varied. How do we vary with having structure?
Sure. So we touched on it before, just with we're not always working the same muscle groups, right? If we did the same muscle groups, like I said, leg day, chest day, arm day, our bodies are adaptable. Our bodies will start to just want that, which isn't a bad thing, right? Movement is good,
and
but
plateau.
Exactly, yeah. If we do the same things, if all workouts are 20 minutes, we are gonna miss those short sprints like today, and we're gonna those grinders that are longer. So it's really just finding a balance to where you're touching points on everything. Some days are short, some are medium, some lifts are heavy, sometimes that barbell's lighter, and we're doing them for a lot more reps. So there is mindfulness behind the programming, and it's to make sure overall our bodies just don't adapt and get used to the same movements. And that, because that's, like Cliff said, that's when we start to plateau and start to feel burnt out and just not like it's not as much fun anymore.
Well, and going back to be on the whiteboard, if you're not measuring, you don't necessarily know. Mm-hmm. So like with all this variation, and you're like, oh, my legs are sore this one day and my shoulders are sore, it's like, what's the point? Well, look at your results over time, and you'll be like, okay, well, that's the point. It is getting you towards your goals. When I first started, and I still have it, But I've been on Beyond the Whiteboard for a little bit over a decade. But before, I had a little red spiral-bound book that I would write down my things, and I wrote down my very first. Oh, I should have brought it. That would have been great. But I
Do you know who else did that? BG.
BG, yeah, probably still
Brian,
does.
Yeah, Brian.
That wouldn't surprise me.
But I have it written. It's in my like big workout bag, and every once in a while, one for nostalgia, two for like, yes, you've come a long way. Pull that out and look at your first day. Same thing with Beyond the Whiteboard. Just looking at it over time, it's like, you might have a crappy day, and you're like, oh well, yeah, I back squatted more than 100 pounds of what my initial one was, or whatever the thing is for you. So
Yeah, and I also wanted to kind of tag on what you were talking about, the kind of the reason CrossFit's methodology works in a different way. I don't want to say better than kind of that monostructural, chest one day.
yeah,
One of the reasons the methodology works is because you're using your entire body for the majority of movements. When you are outside of the gym, you're using your entire body to do things, whether that's get up off the ground for a burpee, whether it's reaching for something, picking something up off the ground. Carrying groceries, exactly.
Kids.
Things like that. So it's one of those things where it translates a little better to life.
Yeah.
Versus kind of that monostructural, today I've got,
Bicep,
skull crushers and bicep curls type thing. Like, again, nothing wrong with those if you're looking to strengthen in those
Phil.
areas. Again, nothing wrong with them
Yeah.
as a methodology.
Yeah.
It's something that works. But if you're looking for, again, that longevity piece, that's where this methodology, I'll go ahead and say, it just kind of rules over everything.
Yeah. More to come on that. While you've got the mic, can you tell us a little bit about, and I don't think we talk about it enough as a coaches group, about the intended stimulus of a workout. So, Tony, give us a little of your insight on what, like, if you're looking at the whiteboard and you see these different structures, like just tell us about the stimulus of any given workout.
Yeah. So when we're talking stimulus, it's the intended intensity over time during the workout. So in a real broad term, you could, if you think of short, medium, and long workouts, short workout like today, sprinting, essentially. We're talking 95% maximal
Output.
effort for a very short period of time, followed by some rest. Looking more towards that medium, and when I'm talking medium, I'm usually talking somewhere between probably 6 to 15 minutes, somewhere in that range. That's where we're looking at, again, with that output, 80% to just kind of be able to coast through, maybe ramp up a touch near the end. And then when we get to our longer workouts where we're talking anything 20 minutes plus, also reminder, these are our WODs, not our skill.
Right.
That's a different stimulus. I'll cover that in just a second. But like 20 minutes or over, that's where we're looking for more of that cruising pace. You're looking for that 65 to 70%, maybe depending on movements. You have some movements you can push a little bit, back off on others, where you kind of have that. Like one of the things for some of our workouts we've had recently, I've purposely began like timing my transitions from one movement to another in those kind of medium and long, so that I don't overpace myself.
Yeah.
It's one of those things of, I know that, let's say we have 20 minutes to do a 5-round workout. So I know in order to finish that workout, I need at least, I got to get those rounds done in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And I can look at the movements. Now this comes with time and practice.
Yeah.
I know with these movements, like about how long it's going to take me.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. With our newer members, don't be afraid to ask your coach.
I meant to mention
Okay.
that.
Again, the purpose, we want everyone to be able to meet the stimulus. But if you don't ask, we can't help you. So don't be afraid to ask. Let us kind of help talk through something, or find a movement that is similar to meet that stimulus.
Yeah.
And then going to our skill works.
Yeah.
So the stimulus there, a lot of the times, because I know the verbiage and be on the whiteboard always it says as heavy as possible. That's relative to your day, not relative to your all-time weight.
Yeah, that's a trap.
Yep, it can be. So the big thing with that is that's where logging workouts comes in big. So when we have something like today, we had a 4x6. Now, yes, today was a wide grip bench, which is something we don't do super often. But if let's say it had been normal bench and you've benched with us a few other times, you could see maybe a 5x5, a 3x10, something like that, where we've done in the past, where you can at least have a number to gauge yourself off of, always going off of how you feel that day and being mindful of any limitations or if anything doesn't feel quite right. That's your, normal set and rep standards. Now, when we have things that are more time-based, are either EMOM or every 90s, we're looking for something that we can do every time with repetition, possibly building throughout if form dictates everything.
Yeah. Going back to mechanics, consistency, intensity.
Mechanics trumps everything.
Yeah.
Once the mechanics are down, you have something that you can do for those sets. You consistently do that before you worry about going any harder.
Yeah, and that's, the skill piece is really where you're going to be able to hone those mechanics. And like what Nikki said, about the workout, asking a coach, with the skill, if a coach isn't providing you some sort of coaching right in that moment, and you want them to take a look, hey, am I getting below parallel? How's my back looking? Just give me some feedback. That's what we're here for, to help you with those mechanics.
I don't think a coach will ever tell you no if you ask if you ask them to watch a rep or two.
Yeah, I don't know if it was. It is in our trust the process about being coachable. So asking questions and then also implementing the coach's feedback, because they're not just making things up.
No, well, and if anybody remembers the old podcast that we did on Facebook, I did say this once there, but my goal as a coach is for everyone to move better and faster than I can. And I feel like I move decently well. So it's moving as good as physically possible.
I did want to hit on one thing about programming, because there's the programming that we do that's homemade programming, or homegrown, whatever you want to call it.
Home built.
Home built. Yep.
I like that better.
So we do our own. A lot of CrossFit gyms will buy programming, and that could be from a Mayhem, Proven, Linchpin, Think Tank, you name it.
So, CrossFit itself.
Yeah, CrossFit.
Theirs is free.
There's CrossFit affiliate programming, which we do leverage some of those, and we do leverage some of the outside things as well. But we try to tailor the workouts for our population as well. And the point of what I'm going to say here is that programming, while important, is not the end all be all. It's our programming isn't the best. It's not the worst. You can't really compare. You can't really compare programs per se. But what really matters is the work that you put into the workout. So if you want to get better, it doesn't really matter too much if it's 5 Seasons programming, if it's Mayhem programming, if it's Proven programming, you name it. It's kind of like in anything in life, the grass is not always greener on the other side. It's really about the effort that you put in to whatever side of the fence that you are on, which is going to make or break and help you achieve your goals.
And I'm just going to add on to that, effort and consistency.
Yep.
Real quick, it's just the reminder for everyone that the gym is the one place where the more you put in, the more you will get out.
Yeah.
It's that whole thing of, you can say you do as much as, you can say you work out 7 hours a day, but if you actually don't do that with intention. You're not going to get the results from it.
Trash volume.
Exactly. It's that whole You can have the greatest perfect program, or what you think is perfect, but if that program is 2 reps of 5 movements every day, you're not going to get a lot out of it. Versus, kind of what we have, where we have, I would say, the proper amount of pretty much everything.
Yeah. This one's for Nikki. So, how often do you repeat benchmarks, lifts, or just any specific workouts? Like what's your routine over the course of the year?
Sure. Well, on holidays, as you know, we typically will tend to repeat something on a holiday, which is nice because, again, if you've logged it before, that's one thing. You can look back and see what you did. But as far as benchmarks, like right now in the month of October, we're doing girl WODs. So we'll, just with Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we will see a lot of those in October. Benchmarks, I try to at least hit maybe an open workout or a hero WOD, or something that we've done at least a few times a month. That way people can compare what they've done. And that's what keeps people excited too. People want to be able to see that, hey, I improved my back squat by 15 pounds, or hey, I did Helen and I got a 13-second PR, which is huge. So those are the fun ones that we can repeat. Yeah. But yeah, I try to at least do them a few times a month, so we kind of have those look back moments and be like, look at this. Yeah. And it makes people feel good and that their consistency is paying off.
And if I didn't mention, be on the whiteboard. So when you go in and log your workout, there's a lot of cool features in there, but it will give you a percentile. Mm-hmm. Some people may or may not know that, but down on the bottom it'll say 75, 85, whatever. That is comparing you in your result to the worldwide population that is using Beyond the Whiteboard. Don't get that confused with the entire world's population, because it's a subset. It's a sample of the whole population. So we won't get into stats.
But also one cool thing about that is that we've done some 5 Seasons CrossFit specific workouts that now can be, people could see them and do them. And so for some that we've actually built and done, we can get animal scores. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. If we've done it enough times, enough people have logged it, it can become official. Yep. Yeah, yep. It's kind of cool.
Cool. Tony, gonna give you a 3-minute cap. There's the intended stimulus of this one. So not to get overly cocky about it, CrossFit is by far the best methodology, and I'm not even talking just 5 Seasons CrossFit. It's CrossFit as a methodology in general. Tell us why the CrossFit methodology is so effective compared to maybe some other fad fitness or other fitness programs.
So there's a couple different ways to think about it. Well, I would say the main reason that CrossFit is so highly effective is in its non-specificity. Word I can't pronounce. But it's the fact that there's so many different movements. You have Olympic lifting, you have body weight, you have gymnastics, you have monostructural with dumbbells, kettlebells, and then additional body weight with running, burpees, push-ups, air squats, all of that. Having that big breadth of movements can help get your body ready for anything. Now, again, other more fitness things, think of your Orange Theory,
like a spin,
Orange Theory,
Hot Works,
F45, Ferals, things like that. They're all missing a component of that. And one of the big things.
And they'll say
pause.
Although the movement
those are great. All the things.
Those are
great.
they are still good. I'm not bashing on anything.
Yes.
Moving is better than nothing, period, as long as you are moving with good mechanics.
Yeah.
But those are all missing a certain portion. Orange Theory, F45, they spin. They are very good for cardio. They don't have a lot of resistance in them.
Yeah.
Again, you can build amazing lungs, but if you fall down and it breaks your hip, the lungs don't really matter at that point.
Yeah. Running.
Yeah. Running in general.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Great.
and it's another thing. I know you said you didn't want to go too far into stats, but I'm going to throw one at you anyway.
Yeah, I love it.
So it was
It's your 3 minutes. See it?
But there was a study, I believe it came out of Stanford, and it was per 1,000 hours of training. CrossFit showed one of, if not the lowest average injury rate, which used to be the huge stigma that CrossFit would hurt everybody. The injury rate, I believe, was 1 to 3, what they considered moderate injuries, which is, I believe, their definition of that was something that would require you to not be able to do a movement. So, a shoulder injury that doesn't allow you to do overhead work, as an example. CrossFit's at 1 to 3 per 1,000. Running was, I believe its basement was 8.
Yeah.
Gymnastics was in the teens. Olympic lifting was, I believe, 6 to 15. It didn't take into effect the kind of Orange Theory style things.
Or
But
things like football or
it didn't take into like
Pickleball,
it didn't take in those sports into, but it's as far as like a fitness thing, CrossFit had the lowest injury rate they could find in that study. So it's one of those things where you can get that huge breadth of stuff at a relative intensity that is safer than most things.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. It's a good stat. And you were right on time.
Even with a little sabotage.
We tripped you up a little bit.
Well, and to kind of go along with Tony there, so the beauty of CrossFit, I feel also just in general, is not specializing, right? Like you don't have to be great at all of it, but getting in the gym, working on all of it will make you great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also the whole part of CrossFit is for every body. It may not be for every person, but it is for every body. If you have a physical body and you can move any part of it, we can figure something out for you. All the other, there's a reason there is an adaptive division in the CrossFit Games. Like it can be adapted for anyone in any circumstance.
That'll be our sound nugget.
Perfect.
All right. Let's see here. This one's for Nikki. Good question here. So how do you program for both RX and scaled athletes so everyone gets a similar stimulus?
Right. And I think we touched on this a little bit earlier with stimulus, but a lot of times what you will see is a time cap. And what that kind of helps, we'll say people that are looking to maybe modify, it's kind of giving them a time domain in their head as to, okay, maybe I should rethink doing this 35-pound dumbbell today. If I know, I'm just for simplistic reasons, the time cap is 10 minutes. I could potentially move this 35, but it's going to take me 20 minutes. That isn't really going to achieve the same stimulus as what we're looking for in that smaller time cap. So a lot of times, again, it's giving athletes a time domain or reps. Like today, the stimulus was to, hey, let's try to make 8 burpees, right? So really just being mindful with that. And again, just asking your coach. If you're unsure, don't be afraid to ask. But really it's about getting everyone a good workout, and whether I'm doing the same movement or weight as Tony is, as long as we're both moving with, like we've said a million times already, good mechanics, we're moving hard for ourselves for that day with how we feel. I just want everyone to come on in and get a good workout, whether they're doing stuff RX, modified.
Yeah. One one thing that I've shared with numerous people over the years, where they talk about like, oh well, actually now I'm going to go down two things.
You have 3 minutes.
I'm going to give myself 2 minutes here. So one is, if you are scaling and you scaled appropriately, and say it was that similar 10-minute workout, like scaling appropriately would be comparing yourself to someone who did RX, and let's say they got like 3 rounds in that and you got 3 rounds in that.
That's perfect.
You scaled it perfectly.
Yes.
So on the second note, I hate it when people say, yeah, but I scaled. That is,
No.
Tony doesn't have 70 minutes to talk about that. I know his ears are smoking, but everyone is on a different part of their journey, so never compare yourself to anyone else at the gym. you got 30 seconds, Tony, and I'll leave it there. You know where I'm going. So
Yeah, well, and it's also just there was a saying I found that I kind of shows that everyone's at a different chapter in their life.
Yep.
Don't compare your chapter 2 to someone's chapter 42.
Yeah.
It's it's that whole thing of everyone's there to work out for themselves. Trust me, as much as people like to think about this, the only person that is watching you work out is the coach, and they're not watching you the whole time.
Yeah.
Like,
they're not watching you to judge you either.
they're watching to make sure. Yeah, they're watching to make sure you don't
compare you to them.
You don't hurt yourself. As more than making sure that you're able to do what is needed.
Yeah. Okay. Couple rapid fire questions to end our podcast. But Nikki, can you tell us what's currently going on and what's coming up next here in the next couple of months?
Yep. So like we said, we're currently in October, so we're doing girl WODs. We'll continue that through the end of the month. Little teaser, if you've been with us, you know it's coming in November, but we're really going to focus on some strength movements for the month of November. And then that will roll into December and January, where we're really pushing hard towards open prep. So we'll probably see a lot of benchmark repeats of open workouts, just because you never know what CrossFit's going to throw at us for 2026 open. So lots of fun things coming your way for programming.
Rapid fire question number 2. What's one thing that you wish every member would understand about programming? I know a lot of it was likely covered. But.
Yeah, we've talked about it, but I love doing it. And most of you know, I don't love doing all those movements, but I am there, suffering, enjoying, having fun by you.
Yep.
But like Cliff said, there's no perfect program. I really pride myself on trying to make it well-rounded for everyone to get better and everyone to have fun.
Yeah. I shared something. I don't know if I did a story or it was a legit post, but Becca S. in the morning, Strabala. Becca shared something with me. Becca started with us back in January.
Yep,
I thought it was December.
Bring a friend week.
Yeah. Somewhere around the turn, around the turn of the year, she's had amazing results. And I asked her. I said, "What was the one thing that got you that was really kind of the breakthrough for you?" And what she told me, and it ties in exactly with that question and everything here in this podcast, is she essentially, in one short sentence, she showed up on the hard days, and the days that she didn't want to come, she showed up. So saw movement. Let's just say, like for me, I don't like kettlebell swings in a workout. Sorry, Tony. I don't know. It's kettlebell swing. Come on now. But she's like, she would look at something and be like, oh, I don't like that. Boom, showing up. And it was a physical change, but the change happened between the years. You
basically just had an example for exactly what I was going to say. I was going to simply say, when you look at a workout and you go, oh, that I don't want to do that, that's the workout you need to show up for.
That's the workout you show up for. The 1 mile time trial, any of you folks that didn't show up for that, we can do that Saturday after Grace.
We'll let
Ow.
those people. We'll let those people that did it. They don't have to.
Yeah. So show up. Last question. This one's a Tony question. What's a common mistake people make when approaching a workout, and how they can fix it?
So kind of one of the biggest ones is, and this one's a little subjective for me, but it's have some sort of plan. Have some sort of plan with
It's subjective to everyone.
Well, for me specifically, because like that has been a big shift since about the last 2 years for me, is every workout I have a plan, whether it's I'm going to break up the reps like this. I'm going to, today was an example. We had the dumbbell overhead lunges. Like I can do dumbbell overhead lunges with the 50.
Yeah.
I can do that. But I know myself that once I start to get tired, the balance, especially in my left shoulder, my non-dominant side, is going to be a limiter. I'm going to have to take 3, 4, 5 seconds. And when I only have 60 seconds of work, it's not worth that extra time to do that extra 10 pounds. I dropped it to 40 and I had no problems.
Back to the intended stimulus.
Yeah, it goes back to intended stimulus.
Appropriately for you.
Yeah. And the big thing is that plan, it doesn't have to be a huge, big thought out thing. And I'll even tell you from doing it from the last 2 years, there's a good amount of times that plan's going to blow up on you.
Yes.
I mean, that's what happened.
better.
That's what happened in Diane for me.
Yeah.
Like I was going to do the same rep scheme I did last time because it seemed to work out pretty well. I blew up after my first set of deadlifts and kind of like, all right, backup plan.
Yeah.
Let's just kind of do sets and try not to rest too much, and ended up PRing my time anyway.
It's better to go in with a plan and have it blow up than to not go in with a plan.
Yep.
Because if you do so, and Tony maxes out the characters in Beyond the Whiteboard, then you can write, hey, went in, I was going to go unbroken on my 21 deadlifts, and you're like, maybe next time I'm going to do 15-6.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things like everyone's done it before too.
Honing your plan.
Yeah. And everyone's always done it where we'll have a workout that's, we'll call it 5 rounds. And you get through that first round, no problem. But then all of a sudden by round 3, you're dying and your first round was 90 seconds and that fourth round was, 3 minutes.
Kelly.
Yeah, something like that. You go way too hard. If you don't have a plan, you're just going to kind of default. And most of the time, that default pace is going to probably be a touch higher than what you actually want. Now, does that mean, like, get a piece of paper and write down your times, exactly what to try to get? No. I mean, you can do that if you really want to.
Yeah.
But just having some idea going into it versus going in essentially survival mode.
I mean, you're talking about the workout piece of it. Same thing applies for the skill for the skill piece.
Applies to skill too.
In this strength cycle that we're going to be going into, like me, I've done this a number of years, so like I kind of have a plan there. But I'll take a whiteboard and I'll put like if we're ascending or doing whatever, like I'll write down like my attempts or what I'm going to do for my next sets.
Yeah. Have that plan.
Have a target.
Yep.
So awesome. Well, that's all we have for now. I know all of those nuggets can be broken out and put into multiple different podcasts, which is kind of the point of podcasting.
100%.
But I'd like to thank Nikki for being on the podcast and sharing her knowledge nuggets on our wonderful programming. If you have additional questions about the programming or comments, please put them down below, either if you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We'd love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, follow, share. All the things. Show us some love. And again, thank you for watching.
Thanks, everybody.